Rather.
Do you have an agenda for us?
I do, so I'll pull this up.
But. And then is Jensen just gonna use the recording to the meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I did was I changed the date from the 9th to the 21st. That, so we're good?
Yep.
Okay, our agenda, oh, there it is. Let me,
It's kind of.
let me go on to your website, send it out. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 1:02 PM on Saturday, October 25th. It's a San Diego Riverside regular board meeting for the month of October. And we'll do a roll call and establish a quorum. Here, David Toledo,
Present.
Patrick
Segura.
Seguda, Patrick Seguda,
Present.
present, Margie Krill, present. We have Susan Baca. She's not present yet, and LaDonna Yabasendo is not present. So, I have 5-member board, then we have a quorum. And so we'll go ahead and move on, to opening activities. You know, we need to vote on approving the, approving the agenda for this meeting. So this is, the agenda that you see for this meeting today, October 25th. I just need a motion and a second to approve the agenda for this meeting. Any board member?
Make a motion to approve.
Patrick made a motion to approve the board meeting. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David Toledo second, so I'll have to see if everyone agrees. David, do you agree?
I agree.
Patrick, do you agree?
Agree.
And this is Margie, I agree. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next item on the agenda is to vote on our last meeting minutes of September 11th board meeting.
Would you like me to pull those up?
Yes, if you could. I don't think you sent them right.
No, they get posted to the
You get
website
to the
then.
website.
So if we go here to governance council. And. Go
So
here.
if the board members can take a look at last month's meeting notes and see if there's any changes or discrepancies. Then I need a motion and a second to approve them. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, those are the meeting minutes from the September 11th meeting. Anybody if you took a look at them, yeah, just need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Hey, Patrick, Spiro made a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Usually a second, so we'll go ahead and see if everyone agrees. Patrick, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And this is Margie, I agree, so motion carries. So we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, which is the public comment. Is it anybody have a comment to make, they're limited to 3 minutes per person. Do you have any public comments? This is Margie Curl. I have a public comment, just to let everyone know that there's been another incident with the immersion school next door. And, just that we need to see how we're gonna work with the emergent school, because there was, again, students playing on their playground. And, teachers being accused possibly of not watching the emergent school children, or not helping the emergent school children on our playground. This was brought to my attention by, teacher and parent, both at our school. So I just wanted to make a comment about that, so that the board is aware and knows that we need to work and see how we can work with the immersion schools. That's my public comment. Anybody have anything else? Okay, all right, the next item on the agenda is the finance committee report. We have our business manager and the owner here with us today. And can you ask? So that I can't share.
See if that works.
Looks like Cinnamon Plus. Yes.
Okay, so Angie is going to give the finance committee report for the month, for this month. Is it for the month of October?
September.
The month is September.
Because October's not done.
Okay, all right. So this is the September report. Go ahead.
Okay, we don't have any bars this week. So I'm gonna go straight to graphs. So I'm trying to close that. Okay, you guys don't see what I scanned. So as expenditures, you can see that we have been spending our money on our food service, and we've been doing the claims. I'm working with Reagan and Mr. Lovato on getting the other schools to pay us back for their portion. So we're gonna be writing invoices to them. We're trying to encumber to spend the federal grants as well as some smaller grants that we have that Mr. Lovato got. See what we're using.
Is that for food services grants?
Food service, and then there's a couple of small mini grants that are $10,000 that deal with and the out of school instruction grant as well. So like tutoring and professional development. And then you can see the revenue to date. And then you can see on our yearly expenditures to date from last year to this year, it's within the same realm. September, we start to pick up on spending more. And we had a couple of one-time expenses, you know, like when we have to pay for our software and attendance software and accounting software.
What color are we for this year?
We are the blue one, so we're a little bit lower than last year. But you can see how August is lower, and then we start spending a little bit more, and September and October kind of level off. It's okay. And then that is our expenditure to date for students. We can get this exact number once we have the 40-day validated. We know it's 44, but we're waiting for the state to say that it's that. And then expenditures on all funds, you can see we spend almost 50% on instruction and instruction support, which is teacher salaries, EAs, and then anything to deal with the classroom like supplies. And then the most out of all of the instruction and instruction support is salaries, which is 67%. And just due to the size of the school, we do use a bigger portion of our salary is admin and central, just because there's one director and the business service contract and all that, but because the Because of how big the school is, we don't have as many teachers as some, so that's why it's a little bit skewed than some schools.
Okay.
And then you can see our liquidity, it has gone down this year versus last year, but that's due to, some issues we had last year, where we spent a lot of our, carryover when we had to have, to pay out 2 different principals. Yeah, so this year it's kind of a growth year on trying to get some of that carryover back. It might take a couple of years, but we're working on it. And Joe Dan's great at, helping budget and figuring out where we can put some of the different expenses and helping us get smaller grants to help me for that. Here's the checklisting report.
I'm gonna take a closer look, okay?
Yes. Try to zoom in.
That's okay.
Any of those charts and all that you presented, are there any things on there that? You know, that you're worried about, that they ought to be thinking about?
It's going to, we first have to figure out exactly what our student count number was at 40 and we might need to assess it, do a reduction. But we're in the starting phases of that right now.
So when will you know that information?
I would say by the end of November.
And that'll give you enough time to do whatever reductions you have to make, if those are necessary?
And and Joe Dan, I and Greg all work together on that.
Is Amplify a curriculum?
Would you like me to scroll down?
Amplifies our English language arts curriculum that we just brought back in.
In here, school solutions,
That is the accounting side. And that's a yearly one-time fee? Every year, but only once.
Rio Rancho and Hamus Valley, that was probably an event that we had there.
This is the cross country, right?
Yes, percent.
How much we pay on, Hamus Mountain Electric?
I think it's just because it's an old building.
That's a lot, but that's electricity though, that's great. What is the rapid fire safety? I see that twice this month.
It's our alarm system.
Well, we pay it twice a month.
I think we had it back.
Yeah,
There's
there's.
a voice.
Oh my goodness, this is like really high. Cisco food service for $7,990.
Well, we're serving 2 other schools, so we have to do the invoices on.
Yeah, we can do that invoice this year.
So that's $10,000 in the month of September.
That's why we're gonna start invoicing them. They do need to, I would say, pay a little bit more than just the app cost because we're also paying our employees toward one.
What about, is this another software, Educate?
Agile Mind, that's our math curriculum.
And Clifton Larson Allen is the auditors.
Oh, wow, that's what I was looking at.
We might have like a small amount left to pay at the end. It's not finalized, but it won't be. It might be 2,000 or 3,000.
Is that the going rate, 15,000 for auditors?
And we have to go with them because that's our state auditor.
Yep.
They're actually better than
Yep.
the other one we had because we have. I can't say anything yet because the audit's not finalized, but there were issues last year because the other one just didn't. I don't think they knew how to do school finance.
NMAA.
We never get to choose them because we had to go with the district.
Oh, yeah, the district chose it.
Yeah. But CLA is the state auditor one that they choose and I think they're.
They
better.
know what to do.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
The NMAA, that's the one time for us to be in NMAA because we haven't been in NMAA for a couple of years, so.
We had to pay that fee in order for us to
Get back in.
participate in the state tracks.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, because we hadn't done that for a long time. And all the rest of the stuff is,
Yeah, the stuff below accounts payable is the regular stuff like payroll and then NIMCIA is insurance. And then RHCA is extra amount we have to pay to help the retirees.
so we paid a lot in the month of September. $152,000, so. That's not something that we'll do every month.
No, because there were a couple, like Harris and CLA were kind of one time. We'll have a
And the
little
auditor.
payment for the auditor, for the,
But not 15,000.
no, like maybe 2 or 3,000. They kind of progress though. This is a listing of all the checks. No, K-12 works with Mr. Lovato on anything that we're gonna buy, and we've been very frugal.
We did buy a refrigerator or a freezer, right?
Yeah, that came out of SB.
Which is really great.
Yeah, we've got another freezer and another refrigerator on their way at no cost. From Walto Charter.
Ah.
Let me know if I'm scrolling.
This is just
This is just the breakdown.
a breakdown of all the, yeah, so it's okay.
I'm gonna scroll a little bit faster. This is all the direct deposits and payroll stuff. That's just all the account codes that deal with insurance. And then here's the account summary report for revenue. We just started doing all of our requests for reimbursements, because it kind of does start where you start to ask for money after September, because August is a slower month, so you start, so we start up in September. So I have asked for all the funds that we have used, including the Indian Education Act was submitted on Thursday.
For a grant?
Yes, so there's quite a few grants where you have to spend the money, and then you have to submit reports after the month is done, asking for the money back.
Oh.
And then here are all the account codes. We will be doing a bar before, either in November or December for operational to transfer some money, but we're gonna work out to see, Joe, Dan and I are gonna meet first to see what we need to do, budget wise for staff before that happens. There's no need to do like multiple bars, but.
Right.
I like to try and do the least amount of bars possible, just 'cause
That's good.
But any of the funds that are ending 9/30, because that's the federal fiscal year. We're not at risk at losing any funds. We didn't have any carryover funds for those that were gonna expire. But I did submit them so that if we did, we would still. And here's the statement of revenue and expenditures. And then here you can see that, the bank account reconciliation balances with zero. And then here are all the checks that were cleared in September. And then these are the outstanding checks. I know that, Mr. Lovato has, emailed out to this one teacher that hasn't cashed their checks from, summer payroll, and we're just waiting to hear back.
He received them.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
He said it cashed it.
He said he's got them.
Okay.
He just emailed me a few days, but I think I forwarded the.
Oh, okay, I
Yes.
saw the email where you were asking them, so, I mean, they're good for a year. We do want them to cash it, but we don't wanna wait till next July to cancel them. Usually when you pay employees, they want their money right away, but I mean, you can't force them one day. But it's not, we're not gonna get in trouble, it's not,
Well,
it's only
sometimes, and the check says like what,
1 year.
1 year, oh, okay, because some say 180 days or something like that.
I mean,
It's amazing how many people don't cash their checks, they're like, hello.
I know, so I
And
know.
I said, hey, I just wanna make sure you received your check for the month of July. And it took a while, and finally this week, he was like, I sure did, I sure appreciate it, my friend, hope everything's going, well. He's such a great guy, he is, but. It's like, hey, do you mind cashing them?
Yeah, you cash that, but it's
Deposit.
I used to throw mine in the drawer when I worked at Hyatt, and I would forget about them too, and then a couple of them ended up at the state for not, what do you call it? Treasury money, state treasury money, unclaimed money.
So, yeah, all we can do is ask him to deposit it, but I mean, technically, he has until next July too, but we don't wanna wait that long.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
But we're not gonna cancel him, canceling a reissue will probably just make him wait longer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Then he'll wait off. But all the rest you can see,
So they're all good,
yeah,
and everything's pretty much caught up.
and then these are just all of the liability account codes still have to pay. That's- And then here's the bank
Thanks, statement. I always like to see if it bounces out of the end.
We do quite a few wire payments, cause it helps out just due to, not having the health insurance.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't cost me.
No, and, Reagan's really good at getting us the Cisco, invoices.
That's what we need, because your mom got far behind that. Cisco wrote us a letter, they were canceling our food services.
Yeah.
I remember they were talking about another group that's probably less expensive than Cisco that will come to the village to deliver food. You ever hear of any other group?
There's two that I'd like, and I told him I'd really like to revisit that. Yeah, one of those was a Ben King,
Yeah.
King, and then the other one is Shamrock, I think that could go on there.
Shamrock's pretty good. I haven't,
Should check.
no, Rain and Melissa are really good at responding and giving us stuff.
Oh, good.
And Melissa's learned how to do, purchase requests, so she's really good at that.
What's that void line? I didn't see that.
It's not void, it's just, the checks kind of, when you, the way that you scan it in, it kind of, it's so that you can't reuse it. It's fancy checks that someone's in the background, and you can't copy it or you and get a check again. So you can see it kind of did it out. That must just be the way the bank is scanned. And that was it.
Everything balances. Anybody have any questions for Angie on the finance report? So we just need a motion to accept our financial report and all the cash disbursements
For
for
September,
September.
I would say for the board to approve. The bank reconciliation for September 2025 and
Cash
the
disbursements.
cash disbursements for September.
So I need a motion to accept the bank reconciliation for September 2025 and all the cash disbursements.
Make one of those. Steve,
The Patrick made a motion to accept the cash disbursement. You guys can go, the bank reconciliation. Have a second?
I second it.
David seconded it, so we have to, see if you approve. David, do you approve?
I approve.
Patrick, do you
I
approve?
approve.
And this is Margie, I approve, so bank reconciliation, cash disbursements approved, motion carried.
Let's see, you said we didn't have any bars, right?
No.
Cause I think that was on,
We should be getting. We will be having one next month for library go back. Just found out.
So, yeah, I have the approval of bars and then.
The bars you would just, skip over, or you could say no, nothing to it.
Yeah, no action taken, nothing to approve.
You can just put table.
Oh, table, okay.
Yeah, just table.
So.
Do they need a vote for that?
No,
But it is good to put it on every time, just in case I had one
yeah,
last year.
that is one thing that's listed.
Yeah, you wanna keep it on every time, cause if last minute, if they say, oh, here's a bar, but it needs to be approved before the next board meeting date.
So the action items, there was no bars to approve for this meeting, no action taken, the cash disbursements were approved, the bank reconciliation was approved. And then approval of revised open meetings act,
So,
so we do that.
we didn't really revise open OMA.
Do we, you have to approve it, or you have it on there?
We've already approved it.
Yeah, unless you wanna revise, you could motion to approve with to include, to either meet in person by video conferencing or by telephone. And then it can be approved, and then you can just change it, upload it, you have it to act on.
Okay.
So someone should make a motion what to amend the Open Meetings Act.
So we just need a motion for the approval to revise, our Opens Meeting Act resolution in our bylaws. So
To add.
Telephone, teleconference, and in-person meetings.
And to put or,
Input and, yeah, or they can meet by any of those. Anybody wanna make a motion for that? On the board? So Patrick made a motion to approve on the Open Meetings Act that we can meet, but board member can meet by telephone or teleconference or in person. So, do I have a second on that?
I second it.
David second, so we'll go and see if you approve. Patrick, do you approve?
Yes, I.
David, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Okay, and this is Margie, I approve, so motion carried, Open Meeting Act resolution. The next item is a possibility of approval of revised bylaws. That be also revised bylaws.
Right, table it.
then you would table.
Yeah, so do we need a motion to table that?
No, you don't need a motion.
Okay, so
it's table.
Okay, so approved,
Yeah.
revised bylaws tabled. Approval of revised the Black Education Act. So
Oh,
we have that.
That was on this, but we had already approved it, but I was gonna review it.
Do you wanna look at it right now?
Sure. I can pull it up.
Yes, because
You see here.
Madam Chair, while you're looking at that. Here's an issue that we're getting different kinds of direction on. I believe that when you say approval of bars, you have to be specific about what bars you're approving. Now, I know the finance people have been told, no, all you need is just say approval of bars. Well, so the Open Meetings Act says that you're supposed to be specific enough that a person can look there and understand what you're doing. So when you say approval of a bar,
we put on the agenda approval of a bars, but when we go to make the motion, they actually give
When we
us
do
the
the
bar
motion, they give
number.
the bar numbers
Number,
there,
yeah.
but on the agenda, we just say bars, and
And
then.
should we put the bar number on the agenda?
So that's what we were, how we were directed by art, which is you guys have the same Tony on Hill. You're supposed to put the number on the agenda of the bar.
Have you recently said that?
No, this was like, I retired 3 years ago, this was like 5 years, we've been doing it now for like 5-6 years.
Cause it's my understanding, we just put bars on the agenda and then we list the bars that are approved during.
And then it shows up in the meeting minutes for that we approve the next meeting.
But we actually put the actual bar.
On the agenda.
Yeah, and then you have to put like a description, because no one
There's
knows.
a description, like it's for this fund
Right.
and like.
Like operational.
Right.
and the reason that just putting in the minutes doesn't meet the Open Meetings Act. The Open Meetings Act is about notifying the public
And
about
posting.
what you're going to do.
Right.
So that if they say, you know what, I wanna talk about that to the board about that issue that they're doing. Then they can come to the meeting and say, I agree, I don't agree, whatever, on that bar or that issue. That's why the specificity of language is important. But again, we're getting conflicting.
Yeah.
Things around this. Some people say, no, just put bar and that's
I
sufficient.
actually put bar just so that we could add more things to.
But that, so technically, you're not supposed to add anything to the agenda unless it's been noticed.
Well, it's not adding it if it just says bars to approve the list.
But you're not doing the specific bar. It'd be like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we're just,
Yeah.
I think you should get Dan Hill.
I can ask Dan, I
Yeah.
just don't know.
Okay, good. I would just ask Dan and just say,
So he does multiple schools in one, and I do it the same way in all of them.
yeah, and he was our lawyer at the, and we wrote, had him on the agenda already.
And we do that at Solari.
Now, what you can, you know what you can do? So, I guess how we did it was. Cause the issue, the only time we would do something like what you're talking about was that time between, I think it's like May, June, you know.
The open bar,
When
the open approval bars, yes.
Yes, that's when we did it kind of, cause we didn't know. And it was for like,
I actually would do a different approval of that bar where it's like, the whole language is like approve any type of bar, and it's like a whole little thing on the agenda. that says-
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. So
so yeah, I can get with Dan and
yeah,
ask him.
okay,
So a funny thing, but not really, I was working with another school and they wanted to. Make sure everybody knew that they were gonna do a bar. So what they did was they put it on their website and they said, the so board will meet on this date to approve a bar. To support the, to support the new building we're buying or something like that. So I called them and I said, okay, so this bar that you're gonna approve, does it sell alcoholic or non-alcoholic drinks? I said, cause I'm a member of the community and I read that and I'm wondering why you guys are gonna have a bar. It said bar, B-A-R. I said, and they looked at me and they said, wow, we never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, but
We know
that's
that-
what it said.
Yeah.
It said that you guys are, they're gonna have a bar, a regular bar. To be able to pay for the
That's-
buildings.
Yeah, finance really just has a lot of fun, and that's why we.
Pickle juice.
Yeah.
So here's your,
So the policy for prohibiting the racialized aggression is under the Black Education Act? Oh, okay, so go ahead and let us know about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty standard. We had this last year and, I'll just read off the beginning part. In accordance with NMSA 1978, Black Education Act, existing anti-discrimination policies, student discipline, dress code policies are amended in the line with the following. Racialized aggression is defined as any aggressive act which can be categorized, or appears as such to be racial in nature. These acts and behaviors are strictly prohibited. So
So is that language only found in the Black Education Act?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
And I know that there's,
1978 is all,
yeah,
from 1978.
and I have to look into it to see, because I don't know if I imagine you going to the policy, we're working with the Indian Education Bureau. There's a specific line that also talks about like the regalia, hair, right? Like
Yes,
certain things that's loud. I feel like that's under this same umbrella, but I felt like what they wanted to do is not really focus on this. I'll have to get guidance on them. They wanted to ensure that that was in our student handbooks.
Yes, it is supposed
As
to be,
policy.
yeah. And then the other thing, your staff has to be trained.
They have to,
You're
yeah.
Black education.
Yeah.
And it's around racialized aggression.
So I'll just kind of,
So do we vote on this then? Do we? vote- do
we just have to,
approve it?
yeah, we just have to, and we've already done it, but just, I would say the safeguard, since it's on there. Let's just, I would say it's there, Mike Waynesville would vote on
So
it.
then I would call for a motion to accept and vote on accepting the policy for the Black Education Act for the 2025-2026 school year. See a motion in a second for that. Okay, Patrick made a motion to approve the Black Education Act for school year 2025-2026. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David seconded, so see if you, Patrick, do you approve?
Yes, I do.
David, do you approve?
Yes, I
And this is Margie, I approve, so motion carries, so. policy accepted. And the next item on the agenda would be the possible action item on nomination and approval of board officers. Should we table that right now, because we don't have all the board members here?
Yeah.
Table. So, do we need to make a motion to table? Okay, so we're just tabling the approval of board officers at this time, and the next item on the agenda is the nomination and approval or committee assignments. Since we don't have our board officers, and we'll table that also at this time. And then the next item is the approval of or addition of performance framework goal number 2, cultural arts.
If I can present that real quick. Yeah,
Well, to bring that up, let me just speak to this issue of tabling a motion. The tabling motion is used usually in one of two ways. One is what you just did there, you're not gonna take an action on an item, so you table it. The other way that it's used is when there's a conversation going on around the board and it's going on and on and on and on. And one of the board members finally says, you know what, we've talked enough about this, I move to table
Oh,
this item.
Okay.
There's no vote taken, it's an automatic tabling at that point in time. So any board member can do that.
It does say though, during, it look, in Google Roberts, it says you are supposed to vote.
I know,
Table.
I have
always
always
voted.
Every-
Boards,
Yeah. Says yes, but it says the motion to lay on the table or to table, though not strictly a separate motion, is a subsidiary motion that stops debate and allows the assembly to address more urgent business. With the option to take from table later. So you can just go back and here's a way you can say, oh,
Blanket it.
yeah, and do a blanket.
Okay.
so we can look at this real quick, do that, and then before we move on, just do a blanket approval on that. So, I'll make this quick, we've already kind of talked about it, essentially, when I got to the PEC, one of the things that was interesting was. Our performance framework goal number 1 is on the TOA language, and per our conversation on our last retreat. It was determined, and also with consultation from our government, our tribal government agencies and representatives. That it's not appropriate for students from the outside of the Jemez Pueblo or the Walatoa to learn TOA. And so, being that we're a public charter school, we serve all students who want to come to our school. We have a small demographic of students that are not from the Pueblo. And so there were 2 things that were happening with this. Number 1 is we were teaching students, and I know we had talked about like, we're just kind of learning the basics. Well, that's not what our framework says. Our framework says proficiency, and that changes the whole game. And so it's just not appropriate for those kiddos to be proficient in TOA according to tribal consultation and yeah, that's kind of what we have to go off of. And so what I've proposed here is to bring in a secondary goal, another specific goal that's gonna bring more equity for our students that are not from the Pueblo, to give them an opportunity to have something to be measured. Again, going back, there were 2 things that happened. We were inappropriately teaching kiddos to speak TOA and be proficient in that. And the second thing is we were counting them in our data. So think about this, kids who don't speak TOA at home and have that opportunity, they're not gonna pick up on that language as quickly, right? It's not like Spanish, it's not a written language. And so we were rolling up these kiddos that we knew were gonna be low into our overall data and presenting them to the PEC.
Which made it lower.
Which made our scores way lower, even if it was just 6 kiddos. And I did write this in the goal. If you want to see how I framed that for them, I said certain amount of students out of this many students should have not been taking this test, and that was a discrepancy. Had we pulled their data out, it would have increased our achievement, right? And so what this is basically saying is that the goal within this is actually going to be a cultural arts project assessment. And it's gonna roll the same way. I modeled it the same way off the PEC. Now they're gonna give us feedback on this whenever I present this to them. They may say change this or add this, right? But we want them to have an opportunity to participate in some kind of cultural activity. When me and David met with the governors, we agreed that, the idea of what we want to try to do is preserve the language and preserve the culture. But they also recognize that part of that is embracing some of the folks that are outsiders from that culture.
And so, what I'm doing with this arts project is instead of sending them to Dominic for that cultural language, or maybe they even stay in there sometimes, right? Off and on, they're able to attend that class. They're gonna embark on some kind of a project that they can showcase that shows that they understand the culture, essentially. No matter what that is. So maybe they're gonna participate in some kind of pottery making, maybe it's some kind of a showcase where it's a larger project. Maybe it's a PowerPoint presentation, maybe it's a report. It's gonna be determined by those students with probably John, since he's our art teacher, and deciding on what does this look like? How do we assess this? We're not gonna do, I know it says 2 times per year, middle and end. We're not gonna assess them at the beginning because there's really no way of assessing a beginning point. So the idea is pick a project, let's come to the middle point. Are you proficient in what I've asked you to do as far as a project? And then either starting a new project or continuing a project through the rest of the school year for proficient. That's really all this is giving these kids up.
With Dominic, which.
It could be. It could be, they could attend 1 or 2 classes out of the week where maybe he's not focusing so much on the language, but focusing on other things that
Like,
complement the language.
like our upcoming feast day.
Yeah, maybe they're talking about feast days and like you said, they can still pick up, like, we're not gonna shield our kids from the language that's spoken there, right? It's like if you're around Spanish speakers, you might naturally pick up on Spanish. So, but the idea is we want them to understand the culture. And so if you notice here, it says students achieve proficiency demonstrations of cultural art projects that showcase their understanding of the local culture, heritage, history, and language.
Right.
So that kind of encompasses all that without being disrespectful to what has been asked for us to do, right? And I framed this the exact same way. They're probably gonna need to change this, but I'm gonna leave that to the PEC. I'm gonna ask them what they think, because that's that national certification for language and culture. They won't really need that, but I put that in there so that we can have. It's up to, like, if Dominic and Norma are the ones that are licensed, they're the ones who should come to us and say, this is what's appropriate. Right? They should come to John and say, this is what's appropriate for them. Or hey, John maybe goes to them and says, I'm thinking about allowing them to do this. Then they can kind of say, I wouldn't do that, or hey, that's a great idea. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on this. But so again, I wrote this the exact same way we did the language. Gonna be a small percentage of kiddos, but I wanted to make sure that we weren't shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak, and teaching kiddos that shouldn't be learning the language, that language, and also putting them in our data. That's gonna
Oh, yeah.
have a big discrepancy in that. So that's really all that is. I have rubrics that I built together. I've got a project rubric. I've got to tighten some stuff up on that. I've actually got a project menu. The project menu is kind of cool because it does have some options that there's some options here: pottery, doing a canvas or painting, doing mixed media, doing music, dance, performance, clothing, fashion, creative essay writing, podcast, community service, short films, murals, book storytelling, web design, food and culture, game board, leather craft, photography, and then maybe something that they came up with themselves. Right, but I always I like project menus. I do those in my classroom and give people a wide variety to choose from. Yeah. Let's see here. And I think that's kind of all I've built with that. Yeah, the rest of that's not even part of that. So yeah, that's what I got there. I filled out the paperwork, and I will make sure that we present this in next month's PEC meeting, which Margie, just so you have a heads up, I have some paperwork that goes with this that we'll need to sign so that we can present this to them.
So that's your,
That's the performance framework goal number 2.
You didn't have to do any goals on that. Can you just tell us about it for now?
No, I would
That's
say
it?
I'm coming to the board for approval,
Oh, okay.
to approve this to be a part of the school, but also to approve this to be presented to the PEC in
Okay.
November's meeting.
Okay, so I see an action item right now for a motion to approve the cultural arts. Is it performance framework goal number 2? Have a motion for that?
And Jordan, that satisfies all the requirements for on their side?
I believe so. It's interesting because like I've never been a part of the process to present a framework goal. This is something that's new to me. But we did discuss that. I discussed that with some of the PEC members. So I think my hope is like, even if this isn't perfect, we're willing to have feedback. Hey, change this. I know Dr. Russell already came back and said, hey, your rubric, there's some issues in your rubric. I wouldn't score this, I wouldn't score that. But I told her that I didn't want to make those changes myself. What I want to do is go back to the staff that have a background in this and say, what is it that you look for in the project, right? You're the ones that are grading this project. I just kind of built everything for them so I can say, here's a great start. And now how do we gonna make this the way we want to make this?
So if they kick it back, we'll have to you have to.
I don't think we'd have to reapprove.
No.
I think what you're doing is really just approving that we want to go ahead and go forward. I think the only thing that may stall us is if they come in and they say, I don't like that. I don't like that framework goal. Can you come up with something different for those kids? Then I'll have to scrap all of this, come back, start from ground zero, figure it out. I think they'll approve this, and if you want to know why I built it this way, I pulled up NMSA's performance framework. I pulled up, oh my goodness, I pulled up 3 different charter schools. NMSA was one because we're essentially San Diego Riverside's an art school, right? We're a cultural arts school. That should have always been the focus, not just the language. That's a component of it. It's
All cultural.
it's all exactly, and we want to make sure that everybody gets something out of it, especially the kiddos that are not from the local tribe. And so I was looking at how even Turquoise Trail, that was the other one, I pulled Turquoise Trail, and I noticed that a lot of them were kind of framed the way that I showed you within, like, students do showcases or students do what's the word, capstone, right? That was kind of where I was shifting this towards.
So it's the same thing like a DOM.
Yeah. So when we were at Turquoise Trail Demonstration and Mastery, that was how they wrote that as a performance framework, and I kind of just took the best. I said, oh, well, if they approve, I felt like if I went in front of the PEC and they said, we don't like this, I'll say, what do you mean you don't like this? You granted NMSA, you granted Turquoise Trail. I built it the same way that they did.
Yeah.
Alright, so we need a motion to accept performance framework goal number 2, the cultural arts piece. Motion for that.
I make a motion to approve the performance framework for cultural arts.
Okay, so that's David made a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Patrick second, so let's see, David, do you approve?
I approve.
Patrick, do you approve?
Yes, I agree.
And this is Margie, I approve, so motion carries for that.
Appreciate the support. And like I said, it's interesting because most charter schools, and I'll look at Teresa to this, most of them only have one goal. There are a few that I did see that have 2 goals with them. And so I think this also is a great opportunity for us to go in front of the PEC and say, hey, we're not just doing the right thing. It is extra work on our end, but ultimately it is the right thing to do. And we're not just doing it to do more work. We're doing it to make sure kids have the right opportunities and we can serve them. And I think maybe they'll give us a little bit of that credit to say, cool, this is something that I think should have happened a long time ago. So, moving forward, now we know we're on the right path of serving all kids. It's an equity thing. All right. And
So Margie, you just wanna go back and.
Oh, yeah.
So on all the action items,
So just for tabling, so you're tabling A. Under action, you're tabling A and
B. Right.
now E and G and H.
okay, so I just need a motion to table the action items that we didn't get a chance to vote on. And a second, and that was A, which is approval of bars, E, which is the approval of revised bylaws, G, which is a nomination of board officers, and H, which is the approval of committee assignments. So I see the motion for that in a second.
I make a motion to table those items.
Okay, so Patrick made a motion to table the action items. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David second, and let's see if you approve. David, do you approve?
I approve.
Patrick, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
And this is Margie, I approve, so all the tabled items, motion passed, carried.
Alright. So we'll move into the report.
So the next item on the agenda is the principal's report, the executive director principal report, so go ahead and let Joanne take care of that.
And so we're gonna change that to head administrator,
Head
right?
administrator.
Okay.
Head administrator's report.
Okay. And so there was a lot of things that went on this last month, and if you notice, I was kind of going back and forth. Some stuff is just relatively new, so if you see that it's just a header on that one, it's because it was short, sweet, to the point, didn't need to put much. But enrollment, you know, we were off to a great start, but we need more students. And when I say we're off to a great start, I feel like the students that we have, we've been able to maintain them. We did lose 2 students last week, which stinks, and one of them did have an IEP. And it was interesting because it got to me that they didn't feel like they were being serviced right. And so I talked to our special ed director and our folks that we're working with, and I said, can you contact these parents? Can you let them know they should call a meeting? Let's address this. Let's look to see what their real concern was. But as you guys know, once a parent has something in their mind, they've decided that they're gonna do something,
What
they're gonna
grades
do
were,
it.
what grades were that?
They were mostly, see, one was 5th grade and the other one was 3rd grade.
From the same family?
Yes,
Do you know where they were going to?
they were apparently gonna go to Hemis Valley. Yeah. I had our special ed director try to reach out to them, and she said that she wouldn't even take her phone calls. So we do have some relatives that are working with the school too, and they've kind of been the channel between us, but we had a great conversation yesterday in our staff meeting. I'm like, what's going on here? And so there's 2 things. Students running and telling parents, hey, so and so's not coming and seeing me, right? Which was interesting on that end because we do have certain supports, and I think there's a confusion. What I've come to is there's a confusion that the special education teacher is the sole proprietor of those services that are supposed to be provided to the kiddo, when actually the educational assistants can provide that service. And so those services had been provided. It's just that's they were expecting that specific teacher was providing those, and that's how I kind of came to that. And the other thing is I think there's a lot of gossip in that small little community. I'm from a small community, I get it. And it's even worse whenever there's family members that are working there and they think they see something that they think they know. Again, I go to my saying, it's not what we know that gets us in trouble, it's what we think we know that just ain't so. And so other people are running and telling people things that they think they're seeing without coming and talking to me. So I've talked to the staff and I said, look, if you think that there's an issue, don't go directly to the parents first. Because it might not be what you think it is. Come and talk to me or come and talk to those other teachers. Bring that issue so we can all address it as staff. And then if we feel like we need to be a little bit more transparent with those parents, then we'll call them in for a meeting and talk to them and say, hey, we're concerned about certain things that we're doing in this school and we want to address this with you before it gets to you. But it's hard to stop that gossip, man. Like I said, I was trying to get to I did try to go out and meet them at some point when they came. They drove off. They didn't. Like I said, once they have it decided, they have it decided. So, we need enrollment. That's where we're at right now. We need to wrap it up. We've got some ideas. We're gonna start hosting a lot more events, and the teachers are in agreement with this. We're just having to pound out all the details. And what we've come to the conclusion is, even though we're doing some good things, it's not enough. And we all agreed on that. So we have to find new ways, innovative ways to bring our kiddos and our families in. Part of this enrollment, I'll just go ahead and touch on this, is I talked with Susan as well day before yesterday. I said, what seems to be the problem? Why kids aren't coming to our school? Why are people wanting to leave? Why are people not coming in? It's not anything that we're doing. It's what's happened over the years and years and years. I mean, we talked about it earlier with certain embezzlement thing that had gone on with the school. It's out there. Those types of things give us a negative image. And it's hard to shake those negative images, right? And good news travels fast, bad news travels even faster. So, you know, I've even talked to some parents that are no longer with the school, and they're like, yeah, we know you're doing good things, but we've moved our kid, now they're really comfortable at this school. It's tough to bring them back. So we're gonna try everything we can to try to make sure people know who we are. We've started making those videos. I'm gonna get to student council in a little bit.
We highlighted our new officers, you know, we've got leadership. I want to show them that it's not about us or the teachers, it's about empowering the kids. And that's who we are. And bringing in certain community organizations, we've been bringing in the health services. They just gave a presentation to our kids yesterday about the flu. We're gonna be hosting a flu vaccination for the kiddos there. I'd like to open things up more for the community. We've got a trunk or treat, which I'll talk about, that's gonna be going on there. Everybody was freaked out. They said, we've never done trunk or treat here. I said, we're doing it this year. I've never done trunk or treat other, when I went to Turquoise Trail, but we're doing it this year.
Yeah, they have them at churches all the time.
Yeah,
It's been a
and
success.
what I told our staff was whatever the valley does, we do ×2. Right? So if they're doing a trunk or treat, we're doing 2 trunk or treats. Like, it was that
The
mentality.
thing about this too is like you said, to inform the public.
Yes.
The community, and we're not doing enough of that. Number one, we didn't have an open house like we
Yeah.
wanted to. Number two, we need to showcase the field trips and the opportunities
Yes.
that we're giving our students and the extracurricular activities that we're giving our students. We can't showcase that because we didn't get to send out that flyer because we were trying to send it out before the 80-day count.
Yeah.
And then now if we just start, like, just maybe in November or something, because October's gone, have like one open house, but then, and then, well, we're gonna have a Thanksgiving.
Yes,
You know,
that
so
would-
that'd be the parent involvement. And then in December, we'll probably have something to do with holiday Christmas involvement with
Yeah.
the parents or whatever. And then, like we did last year, remember when you were there and you introduced yourself and we gave out, had a donor give gift cards and gave out gift
Yeah.
cards and stuff like that. Well, those are the kind of things we need to showcase, and then come January, have at least one parent meeting a month.
Yes.
That's what I propose.
We need to, we gotta realign our equity council and our PTO. So we're looking into that right now. There's a couple cool things that came our way just yesterday. I met with a local veteran that came in. I don't remember his name, gentleman that had his headset on. Might know who he is. He's got a little device, you know, really, really nice guy. But he wants to work with our school on coming in and putting a new flag up. And we want to make a big deal out of that and celebrating our veterans. I think it is.
Who's what's his name? Who's in charge of the veterans? Odell.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I invited him to just come in and have lunch with the kiddos anytime he wants to just come and hang out. Any of the veterans, like, we want to make sure that we're servicing our service people and recognizing them. So he said he'd come out closer to Veterans Day to come and put a new flag up, but he also offered to teach our kids chess. So starting in November, we're gonna start a chess club from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And it's hard, like I said, what's hard right now is the parents want these opportunities. And now we've given them these opportunities, and now the parents are like, I can't pick them up at this time. I can't do this. So now we're kind of switching on a dime, like, how can we get these kids to participate and get them home?
And that's the
Fine.
parent meeting, they say,
Yeah.
you all want stuff and extracurricular stuff for our kids. I know a student that started playing chess in the 3rd grade.
Mhm.
I just went to his wedding last weekend, in fact, and he played it all through school, high school, college. He was a elementary chess champion, middle school chess champion. He graduated from UNM in biochemistry.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of like educational, like mind moving things that we need our kids to learn,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. And as I say, there's something we had talked about this, Margie and Teresa and Diego. This would be something maybe for you guys to help me out on, right? My big thing was making a presence on social media. We are gonna start a TikTok, we're gonna start a Instagram, because that's where our kids are gravitating towards. So if we can't hit the parents, we're gonna get the kids,
Yeah.
okay?
Facebook is for-
Was that? Facebook is for all things.
Facebook is for all.
It's hard, that's why I'm on there mostly for like my grandma and my family, which is fine, I like Facebook, but the thing is here's what's interesting about Facebook though. The introduction video that I made. And this might go with like that negative image, so people are seeing us, they know we're there.
Oh, like you said, how many views did you get?
But so here's the thing, on the video that I did for my introduction, we had like 10 likes. But the video was viewed 1,400 times.
Wow.
And I'm like, the kids aren't sitting there pushing play and pushing play.
Adults, like,
They're watching
they're
this.
just not saving.
And you think that it's gonna be this one-off, this outlier. You look at all the other, one of the other videos had 800 views on it. So they're liking, here's how I see it. They don't want people in the community to know that they're the ones watching this, because when you like something or you heart something, you see it.
Don't like this video.
Yes, so like highlighting our cross-country athletes. One of those ones got 400 views, but it only had 3 likes.
think what I see too is myself included, I just go just to look, and I'm not, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have time to like,
Yeah.
like everything, I just like to look, I like to be, you know, because I mean, just personally.
Same.
I think your view only counts once when you watch it, like
Yeah.
it can track that it's.
Yeah.
you. So if you watch it 5 times, it just counts one.
Counts
If you watch it 5 times with
Which
your
is
phone,
good.
Yeah, so that means that, yeah.
do it
watch
on
It's not the
our
same person.
devices.
Yeah, it's not the same person just watching it, it's
And I swore I wasn't the one
Is
watching
your
my.
link- is it linked to Instagram? Is your Facebook linked, is that?
No, so we're
It's
fixing
on
this
the
launch,
website.
we've only had Facebook.
Okay, cause
Okay.
if you do it to where it can be linked to
Yeah, I
Instagram
would-
too, that'll be good.
Yeah, cause that's how I have my, anything I put on Instagram, like,
What about our website? You can watch it from our website, right?
no, we haven't posted anything on our website.
That
Uh,
might be-
other announcements and flyers, that stuff's posted there too, but we don't have the videos.
They go to websites.
No, they don't, they
That was-
just, they're gonna look at this.
You know, yeah, it's like us.
Well, I got an email from our old principal that.
Yeah, but
Watching them. Yes.
On Facebook?
Yes, Mr. Thompson goes, oh, I see you hired a really dynamic principal, good luck to you, best wishes, he sounds really
He
energetic.
messaged me and I don't know, I've never met, but he was like, hey, Jodan, go get him, Jodan, congratulations.
Do you do, cause I know like at Tana, I can't really know what they do, like if there's. They're in Sawmill area, so there's all kinds of construction, they put it on their Facebook. Like, here's the new route to get to the school,
Mm.
closure, you know,
Oh,
whatever.
we're trying to get, part of it is getting folks online, because I think in the past, it's been kind of when you get to it, and now we're like, you get the picture posted now, get the picture
Yeah.
posted now.
Yeah,
So
they
many-
updated stuff like what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like you could have posted when you guys were at the governor's mansion.
Yes.
You have people- And then.
So they're posting, and I think part of it too is like, we've done so much, it might have gotten overwhelming for that person, but I said, look, you have to build that in, right? Just like us, prioritize. Go in there, don't give, just because the teacher sends you 20 pictures, pick your 4, put it up there, tell them great time at the governor's mansion, we really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, Jensen, IT, cause he's our IT.
Good.
And it's funny because somebody asked me, why aren't you posting? I go, nobody gave me access to
Well, it's too
Facebook.
much.
And of all the things that I've got to do, I don't need to spend my time.
He's the IT.
I don't even like Facebook. Look, as a musician, it's hard for me to promote when I'm doing things because like I'm focused on what I do. But it's important to promote. But for me as a, you know, this as a school leader, I don't have time to be. And I've talked to Rachel because she was even being bogged down with it. And she was like, I gave that to somebody else.
Yeah.
I forgot about the lights. I just thought of something. So this one person asked for a donation or something from somebody's organization. I recently heard this. And the person said, everything that you gave us and all that for that, we would be willing to do that, but we looked at your Facebook page. And you like something like 3 years ago that our organization wasn't really affiliated with, therefore we can't give you that donation.
Wow.
Is that
3
weird?
years, what?
I can tell you the specifics later, but.
That's interesting.
That was what happened, and that person does not like anything anymore.
Wow. Yeah. And they get, like I said, we have to be careful with certain things that we, I personally, when I'm liking things, it's friends, people that I really know, it's not just random things, you know.
Picture or whatever.
Yeah, I know, like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like, I'm like that, if I get on there and I'm like, I see a picture of you, I'm like, right on, man, I like that. If I really see something going on, then I snoop around, I'm like, yeah, what's going on really over here? I don't spend, I get on for like 10 minutes and I'm like, all right, I'm out. Yeah, it gives me anxiety, to be honest, I don't get anxiety at all. But social media, the idea that like, people can say things and do things and I know me, I'll go down a rabbit hole and it's better for me to just stay away from it, you know?
Excuse me, but Dan Hill did just respond and he said. Electronic minutes suffice, you don't need to have a copy.
Okay.
Board minutes.
Okay, good, cool, we'll work up.
Oh, to save on her copy?
Yeah.
You know how back in, remember how we?
Yeah, I don't think I have saved a hard copy. of
We
that.
used to
I
have
just
to.
print them out if they wanna.
Right.
Hand them.
Okay.
So you're good.
Good, good.
You're good.
I'm gonna run through these pretty fairly quickly.
Stu-
Stu- So I'll start with student council real quick. We have student council, we have it in full swing, and there's a video that should be posted hopefully by today. We interviewed them yesterday or day before, and we have some really good officials. They're mostly middle school, but what we did was we also got representatives from the elementary school. So I want them, they've been meeting, they had their first meeting the other day. Their first order of business is to bring strawberry milk to cafeteria. So I said, let's do that. We'll sit with Rain, we'll sit with Lynette, and we'll present that to them. And so
But one, if you said we're meeting from 1 to 2, and that's where you noticed it, at 2 o'clock. You can say the meeting is over. That's one way. Second way is we completed everything on the agenda.
Yeah.
You can't add anything, right? So you could just say meeting adjourned or an emergency. You know, all of a sudden, there's a fire alarm here.
And we have
So
to.
you can say.
So we don't have to vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vote to adjourn.
Oh, we always do that as sorry.
We've always voted to adjourn.
Huh.
We're a good.
I'll run, I recorded it anyway, just in case, cause I don't know, I don't wanna get in trouble. Alright, so student council's in full swing, you're good with that. Governor's Mansion field trip went really well. There should be pictures posted up on Facebook as well, and hopefully we can get, like I said, more social media stuff going. Unfortunately, they were not able to meet the governor, and I got a picture from Harold Russell and Coach Luis that were at the governor's door. And I said, kick it in, see what happens. They're like, come on, dude. But they had a good time. There's a really great group picture of them in front of a fire engine. They came back with all kinds of goodies. So I'm glad they had the opportunity. And a lot of them rode the rail runner for the first time. So it was really, really cool for them. Great opportunity. We have the flu shot clinic that should be coming around. I know I said 10/22. That's when it was going to be. They moved that, and I think it's going to be sometime in the first week of November. So they're supposed to get back to me for that. Okay. Halloween festival. This is the big one. So this is next Friday.
The 31st is on a Saturday, is that, no,
That's Friday. Yeah, so community organizations and other schools have been invited to participate. There's gonna be games, prizes, a haunted house, and a trunk or treat will be held. The trunk or treat starts at 10:30. So if any board members wanna jump in, we'll just have to notify them with the quorum, or I know folks are busy. If one or two of you guys wanna show up, that'd probably be cool. We're gonna be handing out candy. I'm trying to convince Brandy to drive down there just for the 1 hour with me because, you know, I gotta have my rest of my Ghostbusters with me.
Yeah.
And we don't hand out candy because it rots people's teeth out. We give them slime because we're Ghostbusters and we gotta give them samples. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we've got a handful of folks that are gonna be setting up. I've asked all the teachers to set up their own trunks. Wallatoa Charter is gonna come down and set up their.
Do you like they do, like go in a circle and have the.
Yeah, so we're just gonna park like regular parking lot, and you just put up your trunks and set up there, and then we'll have families and kids go through. We've invited all organizations on the tribe. We've only got a few, I think. Officer Pecos just got back with us, so we're gonna have the police department there. I'm sure fire department will be there at some point too. Wallatoa Charter, was that?
Dave Ryan?
I don't know if they reached out to him. If you want us to help us spread the word to any folks that you guys all know, tell them to come in. They wanted parents to participate, but I said there's two things. As a school, I don't feel like parents should have to do more. It's our job to serve parents.
Yeah.
And especially something like trunk or treat. Now, if they want to, I'm not gonna stop them, but we shouldn't encourage
If the
them to do
parents wanna
that.
donate candy to the
That's-
teacher's trunk.
That's totally
that's
fine.
but
Yeah.
I don't want a parent to set up their own
Exactly.
trunk.
And I want them to be with their
Yeah,
kids.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's a family thing,
Yeah.
right? And so, that was my, because there were some teachers that were like, they do it at the Jimenez, and I'm like,
Oh,
man, it's an opportunity for them to be with their families. We did that at Turquoise Trail, right? It was us serving them.
yeah.
And we did also invite the immersion school, but unfortunately, they're not gonna be with us because they don't have school on that day, so.
That's great.
At Via Vista Elementary, we did Rito Week, where we gave out books. So
Oh, I like that.
We had a lot of, we had the FBI was our partner, we had a lot of partners. And what the teachers would do, we did this, they would decorate their rooms. And then the kids would come in and they would get a story read to them in English or Spanish, we were a bilingual school. And then they would get candy after they read the story. Remember, it was a big, I mean, parents came all dressed up, it was in the evening. We did do it on Halloween, kids like to go trick or treating, right? We did it at an evening event,
Yeah,
but we called it Read-O Week.
I like that.
So if they got 3 books, then if they got, no, 3 stories, then they got to go choose a book.
They are giving books away because we had a book fair. They're gonna have a book fair.
Yes.
Well, I think we're trying to work out where like all these extra books that we have, we can just give away as prizes and stuff
That's
and
a
give them to our kiddos. So if you wanna host a game or something too, I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do. But we encourage all of our teachers to try to set up a booth, and I know Dominic was like, can I do archery? And I was like, as long as there's no sharp points. Cause I've always been one that's like, think about who you serve in your community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like when I was at Mark Armijo Academy, all these kids have these gun fascinations and stuff. And I said, you know what? It would be great to take maybe law enforcement or somebody on a weekend and take them to the shooting range and really have people who are trained to show these kids what I think that's a problem in society. We leave them to their own devices and they think that's fun and cool. But if you had somebody that had that respect, right? And they could take them out there with a group of people and say, here's how we're gonna do this, and you understand what you're doing here. We start teaching them the responsibility that comes with that stuff. And so obviously we're not doing that, but I said, archery, if you made it fun and it's no pointy tips, we put it in the back, we could probably make a game out of that. I'd be okay with that. That's something that could be embraced by the community, right? Let's see here, picture day. Get your smiles ready, okay? Picture day is on the 6th. We got MJ Thomas that's gonna be coming out and doing that. We are not gonna go through the yearbook with them. We've got the yearbook company that's gonna be working with Walatoa, that's working with us, and we are gonna do our own yearbook. I think the yearbooks, if we price it out for a hardcover, it's 15, for a soft cover, it's 10. So we're trying to work out the details on that stuff so we can get everybody a yearbook this year, okay?
So do each of you have a picture up on the website?
No, we gotta do that in the bio, so I'm working on that with these guys, yeah.
So I was telling him, we've never had our picture taken.
So if, I would say. We probably won't get those pictures back immediately, so probably send us a picture so we can put that up there, and then once you take your picture, we can put an updated picture up there. And if you don't feel like you wanna do the picture, they just send us one that's appropriate, okay? Out of school. Sorry, that's just where we're at, that's right. Out of school time programming, we had kind of already touched on that, but we have the out of school time programming fund, or the grant that we applied for. Yeah, Dave?
I approve.
I approve. So. Yeah, I love this. So yeah, we're excited that we're bringing the after school programs for our kiddos, because that was something when I got there that folks have been telling me they wanted more opportunities for the kiddos, okay? After school reading program, again, we talked about that. That's just the extension of the summer reading program. They found enough funding to get our 5 teachers. I handed off the director position to one of the teachers as well. So she's happened to oversee that because I just have so much stuff on my plate. I just couldn't take that on, okay? Math tutoring, 6th and 7th grade only. Again, that's the in-school high impact tutoring that they're offering us, a 1-to-4 ratio. So they're really liking it too. I was worried about that, but there's 4 kiddos on a computer they're each on their computers, but 4 of them are with 1 tutor. And they're getting support in math, and it again, they at first they didn't care much for it, but last week they were like, I really like my tutor. One of the tutors was gone for a couple of days and they were like, oh, what do we do with ourselves? So I'm glad that they're liking it, we have math and tutor reading program again from Walatoa Charter High that's supposed to start sometime in November. We're just waiting for Dr. Commander to get back to us because she's the one that's overseeing all that program. 505 Locker contacted me last week. I was on my way to Florida. 505 called me right before I got on a plane, and they always ask, is this a good time to talk? I'm like, no, what's up? And they're like, well, we're trying to get coats for those kiddos that went to the governor's mansion. And I was kind of, because I was in a hurry, they said they were going to try to retrofit a school bus to be a closet. And I thought they were talking about the coats, and then she asked me for the address. So if I'm correct on this, I think what they're gonna do is put an all-out, like a clothing pantry, right? They're just gonna, and they're gonna bring
Drive
a
it out
school
there.
bus out there and kids can do their own shopping, okay? I thought it was just for coats, but then Monday I came in and there was a big giant package with a bunch of coats, about 38 coats for our kiddos. Now they're gently used coats, but they've been washed, they've been cleaned, and they are super, super nice. So starting next week, we're gonna hand all those coats out to our kiddos, and of course, we'll have plenty of photo
photos to take for our
That's good,
kids.
cause 505 locker, we tried to get some students that were, didn't really have, clothing and stuff for school, like when, couple years ago. And with 505 locker, you have to get principal's approval, parents' approval, and then you have to take the kid over there. It's on an all,
Yeah.
you know, by the mall. And so we never got principal approval, so we never got to take those kids to get clothes, but
Yeah.
they needed them.
And I've worked with them before. I worked with them for when I was with La Resolana, when I was with Mark Armijo Academy, and that was the same thing. You had to take them down there to do it. So now they're trying to get a bus going so they can go and take everybody shopping.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
That'd be something nice to film,
Yeah,
like,
to go through.
for good PR.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we've got some nice jackets. Most of them are probably for our elementary. And I think we have just enough. And if there's any extra ones that don't fit our kiddos, we'll go through the community and see if we can find any community. And again, it's good outreach, right?
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, this drove me nuts. I got all of our reports done. I've never done this many reports in my entire life, not even through my master's program, in one setting. Okay, so I had to do the Tesser, which I think came out to about 38 pages. I had to do a secondary revision, so I threw it all in there and I did as best I could because I've never done it. And then what was difficult is because I talked with our representative who's just up the road here, her office. The person that's assigned to us, I said, "Do you have a template?" "No." "Okay." I said, "Do you have a rubric?" "Well, the rubric gets released whenever we grade your stuff." I said, "So where do I even start with it? What do you guys want from this?" So then I talked to Dr. Arrow and I'm like, "I'm stressing out about Tesser." He said, "Go to all these other schools, some of them publish them." So I found a couple schools that publish them. I took a lot of their information, I changed it, made sure it was ours, I'm being transparent, and then I put our stuff in there. And the day it was due, I was at the attendance improvement conference here with Harold Russell, just down the road. And then there was like, here's an unofficial template that is not approved by us. Well, I glanced at it and I looked at the headers and I'm like, all right, it's the same headers as the other places. Well, I didn't read all the fine stuff. So I submitted and I got it back and said it didn't meet compliance or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So then through the rubric, I went through and it was interesting because they like docked us on things that we don't have. So one of them was graduation rate.
Yeah, we don't have.
I was like, we're K8, but they still marked it. So there were certain things where I called her and I was like, I need to schedule a meeting, I need to run through these things. Long story short, we got it done, but it was interesting because previously the people that I had, the schools that I had used their template from, it was approved. With minimal stuff, and then they didn't approve mine. And then I called Arrow and I'm like, you told me they weren't gonna read this. And he was like, yeah, I told you, and guess what? They sent mine back to.
I believe that.
So it just, it was just, and like, they've been really great about giving us opportunities, but there were data points, since we left the district, we didn't have a lot of data points. From the district, and they're not playing ball with us, and so I said, we don't have those. The school didn't have accurate records on certain things, because they wanted 3 years of on certain things, and I said, there's just no way, I'll give you what I have, and that's it. So that was a big pain, but I'm happy to report that I got it done and was finally approved last week.
It's nice
Um,
because he had to do it really short time frame.
Yeah, I was.
They literally told him it was, here it is, and this is due like tomorrow.
Well, they talked about it. Tesser, just so you guys to know, Tesser is only for schools that are really tribal oriented,
They
right?
assumed that we knew that it was due, and we're like. we
So I
didn't
talked
know.
to Dr. Russell at the conference, and I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to be a Tesser. I got scolded. You didn't know you're supposed to be a Tesser. You're on tribal lands. I said, she goes, I seen you in those meetings. I said, I was in and out of those meetings, dealing with the other stuff I had to do with compliance. And all I know is what I heard is there's a final report that gets released from the state. You didn't tell me I had to contribute to
The final
the final report. I didn't get that. So now I know, and now I know how to make it better. And I told them from now moving forward, we're gonna have to keep better records and better data, and I'll be able to present something better to them. With all due respect, if I showed you their rubric or not, yeah, the end part of the rubric on how they score things, you would also be upset because they give you a score of 0. Sorry, it's a 1, a 2, and it's supposed to be a 3. But they've also messed up on the rubric, and it says a 1, a 2, and a 2.
We should send it back.
So I did, I pointed it out, I was like, so I got a 2, was I exemplary? And she was like, no, it only meets the standard, and I was like,
yeah, but two also means exceeds. She was like, wait, does it say that on it? I said, yeah, and you sent that out to everybody. BMEP, that's the bilingual, right, multicultural. That one was pretty, I have not heard anything back, but that was completed. I feel like if it was something wrong, they would have sent it back already. I got the Title VI Indian Education Report completed as well. In that short time span, that one wasn't too bad. It was basically reporting back to Shendo's group. They needed that report for all that stuff. And then I'm currently working on the attendance improvement plan, which has been a big endeavor, but I had some good support and it's due next Friday. I'm hoping to get it done somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday and get that turned in as well. Okay. We had a DOT meeting. It was me, Jensen, and Coach Luis that attended because we needed the athletic director to be there. It was right there in San Isidro, and it was just basically introducing us to their crew. Got to meet some of the other officers.
Transportation.
Yeah, Department of Transportation. So it was really just a conversation on clearing roads, calling for emergencies, who's responsible for this, who's responsible for that. Introducing everybody to like, hey, this is the person who's responsible for your region. If a road gets closed or something's going on.
It was New Mexico DOT?
Yeah, New Mexico Department. So I didn't bring it with me, but I do have a copy for the board of just their manual of how all the quadrants are broken up and phone numbers of people who we might need to contact. So really, really awesome people. It was great to meet those folks, and they do a lot. And I was there with state police officers, district officer. I mean, a lot of folks were there. So it was just nice to know who we go to and how we start getting information out to the public if something happens. And yeah, like I said, it was nice to, it's the first time I've ever been in a part of that meeting.
Have you heard, they were supposed to pave all the way down to like on top of the road down to the school? They're supposed to repave it.
So
Village?
I think that's the school. I think that's the MS department of, so this one was the.
Yeah.
Mexico DOT.
They didn't talk, the only thing they talked about was a curve that comes around somewhere where it's dark and there's no lighting. And it's pretty close to the Pueblo, and they said a bunch of cars have been wrecking right there.
But the school, the pavement was part of the list.
It was for theirs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they didn't bring that up, I wasn't too sure. I thought that was just tribal, that's why I didn't,
Yeah, that road down there.
that would be nice. That thing gets washed out, anytime it rains, that's like my road over here, it rains just 2 drops and then your road's all messed up. They are always out there with the tractors trying to clear it. Sports cross country seasons concluded. Our kiddos came out and represented really well. I'm so proud of them. And we got to participate in the 2nd annual NMAA track meet. We can't say it's a state track meet, but that's what it was. But our kiddos did really well, and some of our kiddos had injuries, so they were fighting through some injuries, but I got really pumped up, and that's why they like Luis. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, from the Pueblo, we have runners. And again, look, yeah, you're surrounded by a group of of runners right here, right? And so I was just proud to see them go out there and represent and push through. And I love Mike. I don't know if you guys know Michael Yepa is. Little short guy, really good basketball player. He ran out there, and his whole thing when I interviewed him and we put our video up, he goes, my goal is to beat my fastest time and not throw up. And that poor guy, I said, how did it go? And he goes,
I don't know both.
yeah, he goes, I was down about 2 miles, and he says, "Buh." And I said, it's okay. He goes, I felt lighter after that. And he says, I thought it was all out, and then I got down another mile. But those kids are tough, man.
Usually
Yeah.
you give care, probably do that.
Yeah, and then I just gotta make you laugh. So I told you that there was some bears at the school. And poor Coach Luis, he's from Albuquerque. He's not used to being out in the wilderness. And I gotta give him props because here comes Dominic. Hey, I chased some bears down there, and they're right down there. That's right where they run, right into the river. So Luis comes up to me and goes, he's telling me there's bears down there. I go, that's all right. Maybe I'll get him a little bit faster. He goes,
The fastest and the slowest person.
that's it. And I told him, I said, Coach, all you gotta do is tell them they don't have to outrun the bear. They just have to outrun their friend.
The slowest person. That's what it is.
So poor guy, he was like, should I call practice off? I said, heck no, let Dominic go down there on his 4-wheeler and clear it out. And Luis goes, do I even tell them there are bears down there? I go, let it be a surprise. So they had a good time and now we're looking forward to basketball season. I'm working on our lease agreement. I met with TJ Loretto and I have the copy of Walatoa charters. I'm just gonna copy everything verbatim, change a few things. I think I can have that done.
There is a approval in December that they wanted to add us to it, but I don't know
Okay.
if we'll have it.
I think we will. I actually might have it done next week because I
Okay,
started
good.
working
So
on
we
it.
can have more-
Cause it's a large document.
Yeah.
And I was just confused because he gave us that letter and I thought that that was what he was wanting. right?
Yeah, I've never seen an actual lease, cause it's always been an extension for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he gave me Walatoa.
It's like 26 pages.
Okay.
It is large and then we'll
We
need
used to do it with
signatures.
The BIA.
They also want a facility master.
Well, I'll need to get with you because that's something new to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we did those lease agreements over there, but then again, how was TJ when you met with him?
Oh, he was great. He really felt like he was in our, but I think he was just a little upset because like he felt like he was helping us and then me and you didn't receive that
Yeah,
email. And I showed him with my Uncle Peter and he says,
Yeah, I
"Oh,
think
that's
that
weird."
you
And I
guys-
said, I got your secondary one, but like it wasn't there for
I
us.
don't know if it just. Like,
So last thing down the road, we still want to establish the Google emails because then I can share documents with you a lot more easily. And it doesn't have to be scattered. I don't have to be emailing you guys. I can just say, hey, check your Google Drive. It's in there, right? Principals report. Because I know one of the things that was brought up is like I find out things later on. The best way I can do that is just keep my principal report open and as I get it, it's there. And if you want to go and take a sneak peek at it, you can go and take a look at it. Right? And then for agendas, if there's something you want to add, you don't have to be going back and forth for email. You could just go and add it into the draft one. And if I have questions, I can contact you on those ones. Committees, we do need to make sure that we get our finance and our audit committee and our audit committee, right? We have to have a parent.
We need
Yes.
one parent volunteer and one community member and two.
On both of them.
No, just
Just
the
audit.
audit, just the audit.
So start thinking about who we can probably put
And our
on
meeting
there.
is at 9:30. I got confused. It's at
It is at
9:30.
9:30 on Monday.
Okay.
I said audit.
And then let's see here, and that's really it. Some of this stuff, we have a requirement to report for Epicenter. And so Margie, I will probably get to it tomorrow or this afternoon. I need your signature on two documents. One of them is that performance framework goal. And the other one is for our board member, which maybe we're not too hard pressed with that right now, but I just figured it'd be easier to get on the agenda. Lucy told me that if I got everything in by the 28th, then anything we turn in will be in on November for the PEC. So that's my principal's report. Do you guys have any questions?
Do you have any questions for?
I just wanna say.
Administrators report.
Oh, yeah, but, Dave and I was just remembering for those, so. You're gonna have Susan Baca, is that with two C's or one C?
Two.
Okay, for Susan Baca, if she meets with Diego and me over what do you call it, the bylaws, that could count for 3 hours of training.
Okay,
So we can count that, but she would need finance and academic through PED.
okay,
With the new board member, I know I would still include that person, but it's not gonna count for training because it's a new board member, they
Yeah.
need to complete 10 hours.
Okay.
Well, Ladonna too needs to be, Ladonna Center, she's not in.
Oh.
so we don't
okay,
have a new
there's
board member yet. I've given them two
There's
recommendations.
two. Okay, so for Susan Baca and Ladonna, perfect, so
Yeah,
then
it's
okay,
VACC.
so you're not gonna need it, okay, Ladonna, what's Ladonna's last name?
It's Yepa Sando, but she goes by here.
Sando, Sando?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we can count the three for them, and they would just need the 2 hours through PED.
Okay.
So let's work on that,
So maybe we can just get both of them to meet with you, so you don't have to be
so let's plan
running
that
around.
soon.
Marge, maybe you can help me.
Yeah.
With that, especially since,
There.
That was the first time I met Susan, day before yesterday. So
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Donna, I have.
That's perfect, yeah, cause that way we can give them their 3 hours, and they would only need to do 2 through PED, and I'm putting this in my note to you.
That would be great, yeah.
So then just a question.
Mhm.
You talked earlier about all the different things that you're doing that other schools aren't doing.
Mhm.
You haven't seen. Do you have a way to communicate to people in the Pueblo that are not going to your school? To share that kind of information with them?
The only way that I could think of is
Facebook, if you have some suggestions, like that's.
We we were making a mail out kind of like, and just like, and it was just gonna be a card on one side and then the address on the other side, but I told him it was just like, you know, extracurricular activities, after school programs, you know, like that, just like all over the front of it, and on the back was addressed through postal customer, it was gonna go to all the post offices in the valley.
Cool.
And we were trying to recruit for, the 80-day count. Or 40-day count, 80-day count.
We wanna do a school-wide newspaper.
So
I
now we
think what
wanna
we're gonna
start
do
doing
is
that,
do a newsletter. Front and back, you know, because also like, I'm also trying to look at budgetary stuff, right? Every time I look at a school, they're like, we ran out of paper.
Yeah.
We're cutting you off, you use too much paper. So my thing was like, maybe since we're so small, it's a front and back, here's what we're doing in our class, and then kind of sneak that in, hey, by the way, here's some of the programs that we're doing. Cause we are gonna highlight all these programs through video. And
That's mostly gonna go to people who are already with.
Oh, I think that could go out to, in everybody's mailbox too.
If
Postal
we do that,
customer.
Al will.
I can get it out to every postal customer.
Okay, even if we print it off and
Yeah.
try to find a way to get, okay.
Yeah. All they have to do is slap a label on postal customer on it, yeah.
So maybe we need to talk about that a little bit, because we're gonna do a podcast. So I don't know if you wanna adjourn, and then I can just kind of tell you, or this could be part of it. We really started thinking like, how are we gonna get our brand out there, right? It's all about branding, it's all about advertising. And I'm leaning on student council because I don't want to be the face of the school. I want the kids to be the face of the school. Like they already know who I am. And so what we talked about was we want to do a podcast. Student council wants to lead that. But what I'm challenging them to do is when I was in Roy, one thing that brought our community get together, we did something called Los Tiempos Pasados, right? The times of the past. And what we did was we went through the community and we selected different families each year where that had a rich history of being in Roy. And we interviewed them and they told us stories and they cooked for us and they made all this food. And then what we did was we gathered all these stories from all these different families through a full year. We came to the end of the school year and we did two things. We created a book that we presented to all the families with all the artwork, all the poetry, all the stories that we interpreted. And we put these in with a thick book, right? About all these different families and things that we learned about them. And then we put on a play. We put on a giant skit about these stories. And so I get a little emotional. This was like one of the best things I'd ever done because I got to visit my family and I got to play my grandpa in my play. And one of my best friends got to play my uncle. And when they won the big team roping event, they were on TV and they interviewed them and I had to show them the TV. So like we reenacted, hey, Arky did hell job out there. Like, and it was the coolest thing to see the community see themselves and relive these stories. And I felt like that's a way to empower, because one thing that a deep culture in the Toa people have there is it's storytelling. And what I told them is that's who we are. We're storytellers. So if we can find a way to empower our kids to continue, that's how we preserve the culture. It's the stories, right? It's the music, it's the art. And if we can find a platform for that, I want them to embrace that. So what we're gonna try to do, I'm organizing now, it probably won't be lifted up until January. We want to start visiting these families. And we want to put these plays on, these skits, and we want to pay honor to those stories and the people that have been in them. So that's one of my big plans
Well,
for that.
that could be the generations of the people who went to that school.
Yeah,
Because like I said, my uncles went to that school, and then when he was 52 years old, he was a janitor at that school. And he died at age 89 and he was born in 1917.
Yeah.
So see, so it's just, or 1913. So see, it was just like, that was their whole thing. That was their school. That's what they did.
Every
you know?
person I've met there, I mean, everybody, they always come in and go, I went to school here. I was a Mustang.
But they don't take their kids there. That's what
Yeah.
I don't get.
So I feel like if we start doing that, I don't know if it'll be enough, but I think we have to, that's what the teachers have talked about. Do we have enough time? And I've told Margie this, I've told staff there, I feel like I got to this school 2 years too late, but there's still time. And if we can start putting these things in play, maybe that changes. So it's a valiant effort, but anyways, I appreciate all the support that you guys give me, I really do, and I hope we can turn things around and give our kiddos a great experience.
That's great.
But
right.
you won't be able to if you don't get more kids.
That's it. That's it.
That's right, gotta get these ideas out there.
So how many kids do you need to
We need
feel that we're successful?
we need 70.
I would love to get to a goal of starting next school year with 70 kids.
70.
Yeah.
So for like 44 or 45 right now.
Yeah.
We're 25 down.
Yeah, whatever you have at 80 and 128, you divide by 2, and then that'll be our budget for next year. So we might not be in a good situation for this year, but we can get
Go
ready
for
for
next
next year.
Right, so you wanna recruit even now for the 80th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this isn't she was, it's.
I think the tribe can really help, you know, being
Yeah.
positive, sending kids to the school.
Yeah.
I mean, the tribe plays a big part.
And I think the theme now is strategy, and that's why my recommendation to the board is to find those 1 or 2 people in the community that have ties to organizations that people really respect and care about. Or people that they feel that way about, and bring them onto the board so that they can do some advocacy for us.
Well, it's very sad too, because we just lost a huge community member. Stephen Gotchman recently passed away.
Yeah.
And he was known for running, and he was called the King of the Mountain. Is because he ran the Pikes Peak Mountain Marathon and won it 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
So, and the fastest time, and remember King of the Mountain, and that sports event. Down in Kenyon by across from the Hamus Valley School, that's named after him.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
Stephen
That's
Gotch
how Stephen
sports
Gotch,
event.
yeah.
We actually held ours during COVID in 2021. 2020 was a virtual 8th grade graduation, and in 2021, we held it outside down there because we were still a closed area. We held it at the Stephen Gotchman Sports Center and stuff. And so and not one governor showed up, and even his son was the Lieutenant Governor Dominic at that time. He did not show up, but we paid homage to him because we're standing in the Stephen Gotchman, graduating person from our school, standing on Riverside Charter School and Mission School at that time. And we're standing on his, on a property named after him and all that, and not one governor was there that.
That's what I mean.
So like you said, the community, the governors, the input needs to come from the tribal level too.
Yeah.
Are there things that tribe does for the Hamis Valley Public Schools? That they don't do for the charter schools?
Visit them. I've seen every single governor in the last few years go to Hamus Valley, the day school, Cleveland High School, Rio Rancho High School, Santa Fe Indian School, but they have not come to our school.
And we invite them. They gave us, yeah,
They never showed up?
when we talked. The Fiscalis, I had 2 Fiscalis show up,
Oh,
and but that not this school year, nobody's showed up. And we do need to do tribal consultation, so,
yeah.
I'll be reaching out to them again, and, I mean, we did it last year.
So my experience, if you want the council to do something, send the kids.
Yeah,
Everybody listens to the kids. They don't always listen to the adults.
You have to get on the tribal council agenda,
That's a good
and
idea.
he's on the tribal council.
Get your middle schoolers and some.
yeah, yeah, maybe that's where we start our podcast and go and interview.
And then tell them we wanna start telling, we're a storytelling tribe, everybody knows that already.
Yeah.
Our grandpas in the winter time comes storytelling time.
Yeah.
We come and tell stories, so we wanna tell stories about the people who graduated from our school. So we wanna start podcast or TikTok or something, so we wanna come to you first,
Yeah,
ask for your blessing, maybe, ask for your permission, your blessing to do so, and then ask to interview any of you who went to that school.
yeah,
And every single one of them have
And
gone to
invite
that
them
school.
to our school.
And inviting to our school, yeah.
yeah, I'd love for them to come and have lunch.
Yeah.
And start doing it now for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Because Thanksgiving is such.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, we do that every year with the parents.
We have the kids go and invite them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's part of it is that's how I ran things, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get our teachers on board. Some of them
Okay.
are doing good, but
Send them a card and have the kids sign it.
invitation,
But when people meet with the governors in person like we did, I mean, that's like a contract.
Mhm.
They honor their part, their
Yeah.
words, they're supposed to.
And their words were, we're gonna come and visit your school.
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
that's it.
that was their words, and we have to hold their feet to the
Yeah.
fire for that. I don't care how busy they are, they promised.
Everybody has time.
exactly.
For the kids.
You don't find, I always say, we don't find time. I used to tell the kids, I don't find, it's not like you're couch surfing, you find a quarter and a nickel and that, or old pizza from yesterday. I said, you make, when you things are important, you make time for that. That's right. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, I appreciate it.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is announcements, which is our next board meeting, and I have to get a consensus and ask the board about the second Thursday in November is November 13th, which is the day after our feast day. But I know that's like kind of still a busy day, for
Yeah.
good stuff. So I think that I should propose that we move it to November 20th, which is the Thursday before Thanksgiving, but I don't know what you want me to.
I don't think we have school on that day.
Yeah,
Wait, is that Thanksgiving or?
no,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
Thursday, a week before.
Oh,
Oh, the
Thanksgiving.
week before, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, cause that whole week of November, the second week of November, is Veterans Day, Feast Day, cleanup, and then that following week, unless we have it like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, that November 18th or 19th. What do you all think?
Maybe on Tuesday or something.
Tuesday, we think we can make November 18th? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
18th,
Yeah,
so I propose that our next, announcement, our next meeting be held on Tuesday, November 18th. At 6 p.m. via Zoom, phone call. Person, however you wanna do it. Okay, all right, so that would be the announcement for that. And the next item on the agenda is meeting adjournment, so you don't have to vote to adjourn. So at 2:43 p.m., I will be adjourning this meeting.
No.
This meeting is adjourned.
All right.
And have a nice day.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.